Hi and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a review of the Impress press-on nails. Now I see a lot of videos out there that focus on the tutorial side of these nails. There's hundreds, if not thousands of videos showing you how to put them on. That's not what this video is going to be about. This video is going to really focus on how well they last. Are they worth it? Would I repurchase them? And the short answer is yes, I would absolutely repurchase them. I freaking love these nails. I love these nails. They're fantastic, and I'm going to tell you why. So as I've said before, my channel is called the 365-Day Glow Up Challenge, and I started it because I was about to turn 40 and just really realized that I looked haggard and old and tired and kind of invisible. And so I've been kind of chipping away this year at trying to introduce new things into my routine that just maybe make me feel a bit more feminine. And these nails, I would say, have been one of the biggest game changers for me. I have really ugly hands. Listen, I don't know what else to say. I have really ugly hands. When my sister was born, my sister is 2 years younger than me, and when she was born, the doctor literally turned to my mum and said, she's going to be a piano player, because apparently she had these very slender, long hands and just, you know. And let me tell you, when I was born, there was no doctor saying that to my mum. I wouldn't say that I have pretty hands, and it's fine. I mean, I can't help it. It's just how I was born. It is what it is. But what I really like about these nails is I find that they really detract attention away from my ugly hands, and they kind of refocus attention on my fingertips. And when I look at my hands with these nails on, I just feel good. It's so trivial and it's so silly, but you know, when I've thought about this, it's like, it's nice to be able to look down at my hands and go, oh wow, you know, I've got some pretty nails. I feel kind of put together and polished. So that brings me on to why I chose these particular nails. Now, the brand that I have been using and will continue to use it's Kiss, and it's their Impress nails. And I decided to try this red color. I have been trying to wear more red. After a long period of wearing nothing but black, and I got so many compliments on these nails. Everyone at work was like, oh my gosh, your nails are so cute, which was, it made me feel good because I'm in scrubs covered in poop and everything. So, you know, it's nice to have one thing that actually looks nice. So let's start off with talking about how long they last. Now, this is going to change from person to person. It really depends on your lifestyle, you know, how much you're using your hands, how much you're washing your hands, how much you're taking care of your hands, etc., etc. I work in a hospital. I work primarily on an ICU floor. And so it is a very hands-on job that I have, and my shifts are about 13 hours long. So my hands take a beating. And I mean a beating. I mean, let's just start with like hand hygiene. I'm washing my hands hundreds of times a shift. And then on top of that, sanitizing my hands. You know, there's hand sanitizer outside every room. You can't walk more than 6 feet in my hospital without running into hand sanitizer. I'm also doing things like putting blood pressure cuffs on people all day. And, you know, you've got the Velcro that you've got to kind of, you know, rip on and off. I'm turning patients, like really heavy patients. I'm bagging up linen, I'm lifting linen, you know, I'm lifting like, you know, 40 pounds of linen sometimes and carrying it down a corridor. You know, I could go on and on, but suffice to say, the point I'm really trying to get across to you is that my job is extremely physical. And I want you to bear that in mind when you're watching this review. If you're like a Real Housewife of Beverly Hills, love that show, your nails may last longer than mine. They probably will. You know, if the only exertion in your life is lifting up a glass of champagne in Palm Springs every day, then, you know. That being said, this particular set of nails that I have on right now, I have had on for 15 days. So that's over 2 weeks. So the two main factors I would say that determine how well these nail sets are going to perform on you are, one, as I've already mentioned, the sort of work that you do. Is it manual? Is it not manual? And two, how fast your nails typically grow. Because someone whose nails grow very fast, you're going to find yourself having to replace them far more often than I do. I have very slow growing nails and very slow growing hair, which generally speaking is not a good thing, but in terms of like replacing my nails, it's actually kind of a blessing. So again, 15 days with these on, and as soon as this video is finished, I'm going to be peeling these things off and putting on a new set, and I'm so excited. So first impressions of the nails. These nails are strong. They are adhered to your fingernail bed using what I can only describe as sort of a gummy adhesive. And the way I would describe it is it's very similar to if you ever have a debit card or a credit card mailed to you in the mail. It's usually stuck onto a piece of paper with this kind of gummy adhesive strip that you can kind of roll between your fingers. That's the closest thing I could compare the bonding agent on these nails to. So it's not a glue, it's literally like a gummy adhesive, and it is pressure that actually kind of bonds it to your nail. And you would think, oh, that's just not going to really hold. I don't know how they do it, but these things stick. I have had in the past 1 or 2 nails come off, usually at the 12-day, 13-day, 14-day mark. But again, you know, I'm lugging around sort of 30, 40-pound bags of laundry and turning patients and just doing all this stuff. And I think just at a certain point, you know, the adhesive is like, I can't take this anymore, right? But overall, they stay on remarkably well. Now, to compare that to the one time I ever used glue-on nails, the glue-on nails didn't even last a day on me. It was really not good. I would never use glue-on nails again. They aren't flexible enough to be able to take the pressure of you digging your hands into like a giant bag of something and lifting it. And they will just kind of curve and then ping off, which is really not great. But they're made from like a vinyl material almost, like it's almost like linoleum, like a very thin linoleum that you might have on your floor. And so it's pliable, and I think that give means it's a lot harder for you to kind of have the amount of exertion and force on them that's going to cause them to fall off. So as you can see, I've had these on for 14 days and not a single one has fallen off, and I've picked up a ton of extra shifts. It's been Memorial Day weekend. I picked up a bunch of extra shifts, so I've been working hard and they are still on. So I absolutely love these nails. One of the things I really love about these nails is that they're not super long. I need my beauty to be functional. If I can't crack open a can of Red Bull, and I don't know if you've ever tried cracking open a can of Red Bull with long nails, it's impossible. You have to take like a knife and slide it under the ring pull. Like you cannot get your nails under without them coming off. So, you know, things like cracking open a can of Red Bull, pulling on really tight leggings, you know, you got to get your fingers in there and kind of pull, you know, and I've put on 40 pounds during lockdown, so it is kind of a wrestling match getting some of my clothes on right now. And, you know, these nails have really stood up to all of that stuff. So they are strong. People's reactions have been overwhelmingly positive to them. I've had so many people ask me, you know, oh my gosh, your nails look amazing. And then I tell them, I'm like, they're stickers. And they are just flawed. It amazes me that so many people have not heard of press-on nails. I just assumed that everyone in the world knew about them, but apparently a lot of people don't. And every single person has said to me, I thought you had gel nails on. And listen, I don't even know what gel nails are. Interestingly, on the packaging, I have another box of impress nails here in a different color. On the side, it does actually say a gel nail breakthrough 1-step gel manicure. So I guess they are supposed to mimic gel nails. I didn't know that. I'm not a nail connoisseur. So why press-on nails as opposed to just nail polish? Nail polish just doesn't last on me. It doesn't matter how chip resistant it claims to be. It doesn't matter how well I prep my nails, how many coats I put on, how many amazing super hard top coats I put on. With the sheer amount of hand washing, hand sanitizing, etc., that I have to do during my week, nail polish chips instantly. And in a hospital, that's a huge hygiene hazard, and it's pretty unprofessional. I'm not one of those people that balk at crazy hair colors or tattoos. I think if you want to be a nurse or anything else in the hospital and you have purple hair and a ton of tattoos, does not faze me in the least. But chipped nail polish would give me pause for thought as a patient. And so I do not wear nail polish in the hospital, but I do wear these press-on nails, and a lot of the staff wear press-on nails because they just, they stay on. You can really put them through the ringer. They don't chip, they don't scratch. I mean, These nails look, after 2 weeks, almost as good as new. I mean, just in terms of the finish on them, the very, very tips of them are a little bit worn. I mean, it's subtle, but they are a little bit worn, but nothing crazy. I mean, you'd have to be looking kind of close at them, and, you know, frankly, especially during 2020 and 2021, no one else is that close to me to be able to see that. I've had people compliment me on these nails as recently as yesterday, and these have been on for 15 days and they've kind of grown out, and in my mind they're looking and feeling a bit ratty compared to how they look when I first put them on, but I'm still getting just a lot of compliments on them. So the other thing that's great about these nails is because they are flexible, you can actually trim them with nail clippers, and that's actually what I do. When I apply these, after they're all applied, I usually wait like an hour or so just to make sure that they're bonded nicely, and then I'll take my nail clippers and I'll actually trim them just to make them even shorter and even squarer, because I just like my nails to be very, very short. So why wear press-on nails? Because I work in healthcare and I live in scrubs, there's very few acceptable ways to express my personality. You can't wear a ton of jewelry, you can't have your hair down, you can't wear your own clothes. In my particular hospital, I can't speak for others, you're not really supposed to have brightly colored hair. Don't get me started on that, I think it's ridiculous, but if you have rainbow colored hair, you're gonna get dinged and written up for it. Tattoos are sort of like, you know, you don't want too many or whatever. Again, whatever. But, you know, nails are one of the few ways that you can really express yourself and, you know, express your femininity that at my hospital at least is allowed. It feels girly, it feels pretty. I guess in summation, these nails just start off classy and they remain classy. And that for me is really important. I'd rather have no nail polish than horrible, you know, half bitten, half chipped polish. I think that looks so bad. Like, if you're gonna do that, you just don't wear polish at all. So what I love about these is that whether it's day 1 or day 14, they look good. Now, talking about day 14, at this point, I'm kind of just itching to get these things off. And so this brings me on to the negatives about the Kiss Impress nails. There aren't many, but there are a few, and I'm gonna go over them right now. The first is really, yes, they do last 14, 15 days, but I would say, honestly, anywhere from day 10 to day 15, they start to be a little bit irritating. And it really depends on your threshold for irritatingness. That's going to determine whether you take these off after a week or 2 weeks or longer. It really depends. The biggest thing, and you'll hear this on every single review, is that, you know, after a week, 10 days, I guess like 10 days, as the nail bed starts to grow out, the nails start to lift up a little bit. And the closest way I can describe it, it's quite weird, is that they kind of, if you press on them, they kind of seesaw up. They're still attached, but there's just a lot of play in them. You can kind of seesaw them backwards and forwards. You can press on one end and the other end will kind of lift up, and you can see your nail bed underneath. You know, to look at them, they look fine, but if you actually start kind of messing around with them, there's some play in them. You might be thinking, well, what's that got to do with anything? Well, really what that has to do with is it allows things to get caught in the nails. And when I say things, I primarily mean hair. You'll hear so many people talk about this. You know, if you have long hair, I mean, anything other than a pixie cut, honestly, and you run your fingers through your hair, yeah, see, there it goes. It's caught. If you run your fingers through your hair's gonna get caught in the nails. And if you do this enough times, you're gonna be ripping out actually kind of chunks of hair. They will catch on your hair and it will kind of start to drive you crazy. And if you're trying to keep your hair healthy and grow it out, it could be a deal breaker. And this is really the biggest reason that I would switch these nails out after a week. It's just honestly to avoid hair breakage. That brings me on to my next point, which is cost. Now, when I look at anything beauty related, I always like to think about cost per use, right? So if you buy something, how much is the cost per use? Now, obviously for these nails, you know, the cost per use is you pay this much for a box and use it for this amount of time, and that's the cost per use. Well, if you want to wear these consistently, you're going to be timesing that by however many times you're going to wear it throughout, say, a year. So if I'm wearing these nails for 2 weeks at a time, That means over the span of a year, I'm going to be buying 25 boxes of these nails. You know, and that's an investment. I mean, it's way cheaper than getting a manicure, right? But it's still $6.99, $7.99. At my local Fred Meyer, they are actually $8.99, just the basic ones, and the couture ones are like $10, $11.99. They are amazing, but I do think they're just a teeny bit overpriced, just a teeny bit overpriced. I do wish they were a little cheaper because, you know, the cost isn't prohibitive, but if you're going to be switching them out every week or every 2 weeks, it's still going to add up. And that's something that you're going to have to, you know, decide whether you want to do upkeep wise. For me personally, it's worth it. I absolutely love them. I love how they make me feel. I love all of the different styles and all of the different designs. I just feel so classy and so put together with these on. You know, I don't wear makeup a whole ton. So, you know, having just pretty hands for me just feels good. So spending $7 every 2 weeks on these is not an issue for me. But there are still times where I think, oh, you know, maybe I could be putting that towards something a bit less frivolous. And, you know, this is the dilemma that anyone who's into sort of beauty really faces, isn't it? It's just, there's always something more practical you could be spending your money on. You know, I don't drink coffee. I don't spend money on lattes. I don't go to Starbucks every day. I don't have like a pastry habit or anything. And so I guess these are my guilty pleasure, you know, and that's okay with me. I did mention the range of nails and the designs. This is a plus and a con. So there are a wide range of impressed stick-on nails. However, if you go to a particular store, you're going to find that it is very limited. And I find you have to shop around a lot to try and find styles that you like. The other thing I will say is that the press-on nails tend to be, in my experience, I don't know how to put this diplomatically, so I'm not going to try. I find that a lot of the press-on nail styles are a lot more trashy than the glue-on nails. The glue-on nails just look so elegant and chic instead of very French chic. I mean, the colors and the designs, there's a lot of chevrons and sort of, you know, dark navy metallic blues, and I don't know, they're just gorgeous, but they're glue-on and I can't do glue-on. And I wish that Impress would have the same designs for their glue-on nails as they do for their press-on nails, because the press-on nails, in my experience, again, this is just my experience, they just tend to look a bit more tacky. Like there's a lot of like diamante stuff, and it's just, I don't know, like if I was like 6 years old, I would buy it, but I'm 40 and I just don't want just cheap, tacky, naff, fake jewels all over my nails. I don't want that. I don't think it looks good. It's just like, you know, and then I look at the glue-on nails and they just look so chic and so classy. And Impress, if you're watching this, I know you're not, but if you're watching this, like, why can you not make your glue-on styles Impress-on styles? They're just so much more chic and put together and, I don't know, grown up, you know? I tend generally to go for the more muted shades. Again, obviously, this is the first time wearing a bright shade. I just had a really depressing April and May. For those of you that don't know, my car got stolen and my dog died of cancer. And I don't know, I just wanted to cheer myself up with something kind of bright. So there are a lot of styles out there. Impress also have a really cool holiday line, or holiday lines, I should say. So, you know, around Halloween, they introduced some really cute styles, and Christmas, their styles are absolutely adorable. I would love to get my hands on some of those. The removal process for these nails is very easy, very easy. I find if you just take a wooden orange stick and just kind of get it under, you can kind of lever them off. It's kind of surprising given how well they stay on that it's so easy to get them off. As far as how much damage they do to your nails, it's negligible. There's a little bit of sort of, I wouldn't say damage at all. I would say the glue maybe slightly yellows the nail bed. That doesn't really bother me. You know, I would just buff that out. And to be honest with you, when I take one set off, I tend to just put another set straight on. But compared to nail polish, you know, and having to use acetone, I would say these nails are extremely, extremely nail bed friendly. So I would never not wear these because I was worried about, you know, needing to take a break from my damaged nails or anything. I just put set after set after set of these on, and it works fine. Overall, I highly recommend these nails. If you can get your hands on a pair, I would encourage you to try them. I think that they are an absolutely amazing invention. They are so easy to apply. I mean, a 6-year-old could put these on, and that is the level of sort of beauty knowledge that I have. So yes, 10 out of 10 would highly recommend. I will keep on repurchasing these, and you know, in future videos, I assure you, you'll be seeing me in many different styles of these. So thanks very much for watching. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you again soon.